All right, everyone, welcome back, and thanks for tuning in. The Galaxy S27 Ultra might look like another yearly upgrade on the surface, but the biggest story isn't a faster chip or a brighter display. It's the collection of quiet decisions happening behind the scenes that could completely change Samsung's flagship strategy for the next several years, and most of them aren't getting nearly enough attention. Let's dive right into the video. The first change is the one that's confusing almost everyone. According to the latest leaks, Samsung could remove the dedicated 3x telephoto camera from the Galaxy S27 Ultra. At first, that sounds like a cost-cutting move, but when you compare it to the current setup, the logic starts making sense. The existing 5x camera already has a much larger and more capable sensor, and with modern AI processing, cropping into that sensor can often deliver better results than relying on an older, lower-resolution 3x camera. Instead of asking 4 cameras to do 4 different jobs, Samsung may be letting one stronger sensor handle multiple zoom ranges. If that's true, the camera count goes down, but image quality could actually go up. What's even more interesting is what Samsung gains by removing that hardware. That extra internal space doesn't just disappear. Multiple reports suggest the company wants to use it for a larger battery and a redesigned cooling system. Samsung has stayed around the 5,000 mAh mark for years, while rivals have quietly pushed beyond 6,000 mAh. If the S27 Ultra finally breaks that barrier without becoming thicker, this isn't just a battery upgrade. It's Samsung admitting that endurance has become just as important as raw performance. Before we get to the next hidden change, a quick shout out to today's partner, Walverse. If you enjoy staying ahead of smartphone leaks instead of waiting for launch day surprises, Walverse is a great place to follow daily tech updates, industry reports, and product news in one place. I've been using it to keep track of these early Galaxy developments, and it's worth checking out if you're into the bigger picture behind the headlines. Now here's the feature that could quietly become one of the most useful additions on the phone. Leaks suggest Samsung is developing an advanced privacy display for the S27 Ultra. On paper, reducing viewing angles doesn't sound exciting. In real life, it could be incredibly practical. Reading emails on a plane, checking your banking app at a cafe, or replying to private messages on a train suddenly becomes much more secure. The really smart part is the rumor that privacy mode could work only with selected apps instead of dimming your entire display. That's the difference between a feature people try once and forget and one they actually use every day. Then there's the redesign itself. For several generations, Samsung's floating camera rings have become instantly recognizable. But reports now point toward a new camera island or horizontal layout. Most people will focus on how it looks, but I think Samsung's motivation is much deeper. A redesigned rear panel creates more flexibility inside the phone, improves structural strength around the cameras, and gives engineers more room for larger components. Sometimes changing the outside is really about fixing limitations on the inside. Performance is another area where Samsung seems to be thinking long-term instead of chasing benchmark numbers. The Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 6, paired with LPDDR6 memory and faster UFS 5.0 storage, isn't just about making apps open faster. The bigger story is on-device AI. More processing happening directly on the phone means faster responses, better privacy, and less dependence on cloud servers. That's exactly where the smartphone industry is heading, and Samsung clearly wants the Ultra leading that transition. By the way, if you're enjoying deep dives like this, consider joining the community. More than 70% of people watching these videos still aren't subscribed. If you're someone who likes understanding why companies make these decisions instead of just memorizing spec sheets, you're exactly the kind of viewer this community is built around. The more I look at these leaks, the less the Galaxy S27 Ultra feels like a simple hardware refresh. Removing a camera to improve battery life, redesigning the chassis to unlock internal space, pushing privacy features that people will actually notice, and preparing for an AI-first future all point toward a different philosophy. Samsung doesn't seem to be chasing the longest spec sheet anymore. It looks like they're trying to build a smarter flagship. And if these rumors end up being accurate, the biggest surprise may not be what Samsung added, but what they were finally willing to remove, because that decision could influence every Galaxy Ultra that comes after it. Take care and stay safe. I'll see you in the next one soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.